Hello dear friends, my name is Muthu Palpola and I'm working as a Microsoft Certified Data Engineer and Business Engineering Consultant. This is my 10th YouTube video to share my experience with data community. Last time I explained how to use pyspark on Azure Databricks to implement Power BI model and do visualization. There I explained how to use pyspark to do certain operations like insert, update. We can call them as DML operations. This time I'm also going to explain the same things but using a different concept called delta table. Now with delta tables compared to last time, the programming effort will be less. Okay, let's move to next slide to understand what's a delta table or the delta lake concept. Okay, first try to get an understanding about why we need data lake for our development. Now this is an open source software that provide missing feature with existing data lakes. Now existing data lakes like examples Azure Storage Gen 1, Gen 2, the Amazon S3 buckets, Hadoop. Now with these data lakes, the ACID transaction, simply we can call it them as the insert, update, delete operations to the files is really hard to do. So to overcome that problem, this delta lake concept came in. Now with this data lake or the delta table formats, we can do this operation very easily with less programming effort. That's the most important thing or the advantage I see with this data lake concept. And also there are other advantages like the schema consistency. Now for example, if we are going to add new columns to the existing files in the data lake, that will be a problem with existing data lakes. Now with this delta lake concept, now we can overcome that problem and we can do easily adding new columns that changes to the schema. uh, to get more understanding about this delta lake, let's check or look at how this delta lake architecture built and how it's working. This is the delta data flow architecture. Here you can see main two sections like delta lake section and the data lake section. The data lake section, we can see our normal delta lake products like HDFS, Hadoop, Azure Data Lake Storage, Amazon S3 bucket. Top of that data lake, you can see this delta lake layer. This is an open source storage layer that will provide the missing features that we talked about previous slide, like ACID transactions and the problems related to the schema consistency. That kind of problems will remove by this delta lake. It will provide certain facilities to overcome this problem. And when we are ingesting data, it will come into the storage layer like into our data lake, but it will categorize as a separate sections like ingestion table like bronze layer, and then after consolidation and cleansing it called as refined tables like silver zone, and after once we transform and aggregated it called as featured table or the gold zone. The gold zone we can use for our analytics and machine learning purpose. Now you can see this delta lake is a additional layer that will help to overcome the missing features or existing problems with the data lake. So let's move on to our scenario and let's try to implement this delta lake top of our data lake. Okay, in today's scenario we are going to cover these 4 steps. First one is how to open a JDBC connection to the Azure SQL database and extract data from Databricks. And second one is how to write a data frame into data lake as a Parquet file. And third one is how to convert that file into delta table or data lake formatted table and do the ACID transaction like upsert merge process to update data lake table. And fourth one is how to automate all three steps to build a simple ETL using Azure Databricks. I will move to the first slide. Here I am going to use my main source as the InfoM3 ERP that implemented on Azure SQL database. So I'm going to extract that information, some certain tables into uh, data lake, Azure Storage Gen 2, or the blob storage using Azure Databricks. And then I'm going to use delta lake concept or this open source storage layer to convert that information into delta lake table. So the delta lake table or delta table, and do certain transactions to that files. Okay, let's see how to do it. Okay, let's look at our source first. Here I created Azure SQL Server, and here I created a database called M3FTP This is the M3 Info-M3 ERP database. There I selected few tables into this database, and today we are going to use this MIT-master table, item master table, for our scenario. In this table, I selected 5 table columns. First one is item number, then the item name, parent item, and item price, and the change date. Now here you can see the item code or the item number is the unique one, but here you can see a duplication. I included an additional record to show how we can update an existing record in the data lake using delta lake or the delta table concept. Okay, let's try to extract this information into data lake. Okay, this is the resource group that I created for our video. There I created two main resources. One is Azure Databricks, other one is the Azure Storage, the blob storage. Now inside the blob storage, I create a container called M3 test. Now inside this container we don't have anything. Now let's try to extract that information into this container. To do that one, the first step that we need to create a notebook and configure a cluster. Today I'm not going to explain that thing because in my previous video I explained how to configure cluster and provide certain uh, configuration information and deploy it. Okay, let's try. If you want to check that out, please check my previous video. There I explained it, that one. Okay, let's try to execute this part. This part to make a connection, create a connection between Azure Databricks and Azure SQL database, our main source ERP database. Uh, this is ODBC connection. Let me execute this part. It's successful. And then we need to create a Azure storage connection with the Azure Databricks. Here I use this storage key method or the direct access method to build a connection, but there are other connections that more secure. And here I'm going to use the create the Parquet file into the blob storage. This is the SQL command that I'm going to execute, and it will use the spark read option with the ddbc command, and it will extract that information into this data frame, and the data frame going to store as a Parquet file using this write format command into the data lake. Let's execute this part. Yes, it's displayed the two records. Now we can have here I use a filtered condition that change date equal to 2021 09 September 4th. Let's go back to our storage. Let's refresh it. Yeah, we can see our file. Yeah, mismatch. Inside the mismatch we can have this file. Let's try to extract another file. Let's change the date 5th. To check my original source, you can see there we can have September 5th. There are two records available in the table. Let's try to extract them as well. Yes, there are two records. Let's refresh our, yeah, we can have now two files available in our data lake. Okay, now let's try to merge these files, convert these files into delta table, and try to use merge command to update and insert new records into a file. Okay, now data ingestion part completed from M3 to data lake. Let's try to convert these files, Parquet file into delta lake format. First, here I create a new notebook and I renamed as convert Parquet files to delta format. And here we have to create a new connection to Azure storage. Here I'm using a storage key method or the direct access method to build a connection. Let's execute this one. Okay, command, and there I'm going to do some certain operation that you can do certain like cleansing and renaming operations before you convert delta lake. Here I'm going to rename mid-mass table column names into readable columns. Let's execute this one. Okay, now you can see this MMITNO convert renamed as item code, ITDS item name, and style, item price, and last change date. Now it's bit readable. Now this table, the data frame in readable format. Now I'm going to convert this data frame into delta lake, and I'm going to store that delta formatted table into the data lake. Now for that one we have to execute these commands. First thing that we need to mention a destination path or the path that we want to store that delta lake. Here I'm going to use this data mart sales data lake item master path. Now if you go back to our data storage or the data lake, here I store mid-mass file inside sale inside the data mart. This is my container and then the data mart sales, the M3 file called mid-mass. Inside mid-mass I can have two files. Here I am going to read this first file and I'm going to convert into item master file as a delta table. Let's execute this one. Okay, it's completed. Now let's go back to our data lake. Here you can see this delta lake folder. Inside delta lake folder I can see the item master. Here you can see the log file. Now in this log file you can see this JSON and other files that will keep the track of the changes that we are doing to this file. Now in this Parquet format file, this is a Parquet format file, it will contain the data. Okay, let's try to extract another file from the data lake. Now we extracted this file, the 9 September 4th file. Let's try to extract this September 5th file and try to merge. Okay. Let's try to visualize that the table that we created. Now you can use this Spark SQL command like this to visualize it, and or you can use this option percentage SQL and you can execute this one. Yeah. Right, then let's try to extract the second file. Yeah, I'm going to do the same rename operation and I will save that new file as item master underscore u with the new date. So it should be 5th. I try to execute this one. Okay, it read the ingest file, the mid-mass 2021-0905 Parquet file, and it read into this data frame and then converted into this delta table. Right. Let's go back to our data lake. Yeah, we can have this other new file also here, the Parquet file, and then the log files that keep the track of changes to this file. Okay. Let's try to visualize it. Yeah, we can see the information here. And now this is our old table, the first table, the changes that happened on September 4th. this is the changes that happened on September 5th. Now here you can see, let's execute these commands together, then we can easily compare these two tables. Yeah, now we can compare. Okay, this code is same and created, sorry, I think the master table. So, yeah. Now you can see the changes. Now there are two items. Now there's a change for THR 0002 code on fifth. Now once we merge these two tables, delta tables, we will get a one table with three records, not four records, three records, because the unique key or the unique key is the item code. From now there is a change for this one item code on 5th of September. Now to do the merge part, we have to execute this command. Now here you can see merge into item master table, this table, right? This is our main table, and we are going to amend the changes from this table into main table, item master table, using this item code command. Here you can see the merge into this table. The target is this one, and from this table, the September 5th table, using item code link, and there we condition when match, then update all the columns, when not match, insert all the columns, right? Okay, let's execute this one. Yeah, you can see there are the two records now available. That's three records. Now if you compare these two records, you can see the old record contain 5.78 price, the new column is 6.789. Now we can see the latest record in this table, right, with the old record. Now this record came on the first file, and this record came from the new file. You can compare. I will put all the things together. Let's put this table like here. Yeah. Now you can see here. You can see the latest record now available in item master table. Now if you compare what we did last time, this is very easy. This is using this single command, you can do all the operation now. Otherwise, if you want to do update for a particular data frame, then you have to use joins, and you have to specify all the columns that you want to update. Now here I didn't use that thing, that kind of programming. Here I used the update set all and then insert set all. Just a simple command, everything completed. Okay, let's try to automate this one. Now here you can see there are certain things I actually hard coded. Let's see how to automate these two notebooks into a one notebook, and see without hard coding how to create a simple ETL. Okay, this is the new notebook that I created, combining these two notebooks. First one is to ingest empty data into the data lake. The second one is to convert Parquet file format files to delta format. And here I use configuration data frame to automate these two process, because previous notebooks, now in the first and second notebooks, you can see certain things I actually hard coded, like table names, change date, and the column names. Now here I bring all those parameters into one single table, and I'm going to use that one and Using that, I am going to execute this commands through multiple tables. Actually, here I am going to use one table, but if you want to add more tables and do the same operation for them, you have to use table names and different parameters. Then you can do easily, because otherwise, now for example, here you can see this merge into statement. I use certain parameters here, so adding more tables, it will easy to execute with the less code. Okay, let's execute this one. Full notebook. This is the output from configuration, and this is for to connect with Azure Database. Then for the storage credential to link with Azure Blob Storage or the data lake, this will extract the files from the main source into the data lake, and this cell to convert the Parquet file format into delta table format, and then run the ACID transaction. Here we use the merge into statement to update and insert records into files. Okay, now that one also completed here, and yeah, now you can see the final output. You can see first there are two records from the 5th file, one record from the item from the 6th file, and yeah, this is our test case. Let's compare with our database. Now here you can see this, there are two records for same item from 4th and 5th, and now it contain the latest price for the latest date. Now our scenario, our test case successful. Now you can understand that what we can do with this delta lake. We can use it, and we can do certain operation easily without putting much effort, without using much code. We can do it easily. Okay, that's the end of this video. Let's look at what we covered today. Okay, here are the 4 steps that we completed in our practical session. So you know that with this how to create a JDBC connection and extract information in data lake, and then convert Parquet file into Parquet file, and Parquet file convert in data lake format or the delta table, and then using ACID transaction like upsert merge, how to insert and update uh, records into say delta table. And okay, thank you for watching this video. Let's meet from another video how to use this delta lake concept to build dimension and facts. Thank you.